Have you read a story in the Draoithe Saga and come away with a classic case of immersion after effect? Let me guess, there are questions which remain unanswered even as the magic expanded, adding another layer to the dream. The grand desire to turn the page to discover what happened next ended with the last leaf turned. If you're asking where the remedy for the book hangover is, you know the answer: read another story. But you aren't ready for the next tale, not yet. The dust needs to settle before you pick up the next volume. So you have found your way here. You aren't alone. Even the author can't get enough. As you hear this, Ophelia Kee writes on. But allow me to offer you a possibility, a reflection on the tale you recently finished, and a way to revisit the story to ease the story blues. Welcome to the Draoithe Saga After Party. Warning, spoiler alerts ahead. Turn back now if you wish to read the story blind.
So picture this. You're standing in a field right at sunset.
Okay, I'm with you.
And the sky above you is this violent, beautiful mix of orange and red, right? And silhouetted against it are these massive ancient megaliths.
Oh, like Stonehenge.
Yeah, exactly like Stonehenge, vibrating with this forgotten primordial energy. But then, right next to that image in your mind, place something incredibly delicate, almost nostalgic. A few soft pink carnations resting quietly on a stack of old handwritten letters with faded postage stamps.
Well, yeah, it's a massive contrast. You have the towering, world-ending magic on one hand, and then this very grounded, intimate human reality on the other.
And that contrast is exactly what we are diving into today. Welcome to our deep dive into the world of dragon medicine, which is part of the wider Draoithe Saga, so welcome to Tyler, Texas.
But definitely not the Tyler, Texas you might find on a map.
Right, no. This is a magical realist version of the city. It sits at the center of this incredibly complex web of mortal politics, highly specific magical biology, and some deeply intense interpersonal dynamics.
Yeah, and to really understand what is happening here around the year 0 is 16x, you kind of need to grasp the central conflict first. There is an immortal kingdom known as the Lore.
Okay.
And they are fighting this shadow war against a villain named Peter Elliott. But they aren't just fighting over territory or power. They're fighting to restore the balance of something called the dream.
I want to stop right there, actually, because the dream sounds like something out of, I don't know, a sleepy bedtime story. But in this universe, it is anything but that.
Oh, far from it.
Yeah.
Think of the dream as the literal operating system of reality. It's the foundational magical fabric that holds the physical world together.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so when the dream is unbalanced, reality itself starts to warp, magic becomes toxic and mortals go insane, and human society starts to fray the edges without even realizing why.
So the stakes are literally everything.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
The Lore Kingdom is trying to patch the code of reality, while Elliott's forces are actively trying to introduce a virus to just tear it all down.
Okay, let's unpack this, because diving into the saga is not your typical fantasy stroll. The best way I can describe it to you, the listener, is that it is like stepping into a high-stakes corporate merger. But instead of lawyers in expensive suits sitting around a sterile boardroom, you have dragons, vampires, and shapeshifters negotiating the terms of reality.
Right, and they are doing it with fangs, claws, and elemental magic.
Exactly. It's intense.
And importantly, they're doing it through strategic life mates. In this world, finding a fated partner isn't just, a romantic side quest. It is a biological and magical imperative.
Right, it anchors things.
Exactly.
Right.
When two powerful immortals bond, their combined magic acts as an anchor for the dream.
Right, so we have this massive world-spanning shadow war. But the brilliance of this universe is that to understand those macro-level stakes, you have to zoom way, way in.
You really do.
You have to look at the micro-level insecurity that actually drive these warriors. So let's look at the opening scenario. We have Layla, who is a vampire-dragon hybrid, and she is mated to a griffin named Marchand. And when we first meet Marchand, he has a face full of bruises, and he's standing in a completely destroyed conference room.
Like broken chairs, shattered tables, just total devastation.
Total wreckage. And why? Because he just got into an absolute brawl with a massive red dragon named Flare.
Right.
And the reason for this brawl, Layla spent 2 hours talking to Flare in the stables. Just talking. So I really have to push back on the logic here for a second. Flare is a highly lethal red dragon, right? Like a living weapon.
Oh, absolutely.
But he basically just lets Marchand beat him up. Is Flare just physically weak compared to a griffin? Because to me, it reads like letting your buddy win at arm wrestling to save his ego, except, it involves destroying an entire room.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we really have to look at the biological drivers governing these specific creatures. Flare isn't weak at all. He is a walking nuclear reactor.
Right.
But Marchand isn't just experiencing, human jealousy. He's a griffin shifter, and Layla is what this universe calls a true submissive.
Okay, wait, let's clarify that term, because outside of this world, that carries a very specific, usually lifestyle-related connotation.
Yes, definitely put away any mundane definitions you might have. In this magical biology, a true submissive refers to an immortal whose magical aura is entirely open and vulnerable.
Like a beacon.
Exactly like a beacon.
Yeah.
And because of this, Marchand's biology goes into overdrive. He has a magical imperative to fiercely shelter her aura. His instincts basically view any prolonged interaction with an apex predator like a dragon as an immediate existential threat to her survival.
Wow, okay.
So when Marchand sees them together, his rational brain essentially shuts off. His griffin instincts just take the wheel.
So it's basically a biological panic attack.
That is a great way to put it, yeah. And Flare, the guy taking the punches, he completely understands this. Flare knows the griffin job description.
So why does he just let Marchand hit him?
Pure calculation. First, if Flare actually fought back, he would crush Marchand, and that would devastate Layla, isolating her even further.
Oh.
And second, Flare is acutely aware of immortal politics. Seriously injuring a mated griffin could easily result in a penalty for treason against his king.
Man, so his restraint is actually a massive flex of control.
It really is. And what happens next is kind of brilliant. Once Flare calmly explains the truth, that Layla is just a friend, that he didn't touch her, and that he isn't challenging Marchand's claim, the biological tension just, it evaporates.
Yeah, they literally sit down on the floor of this ruined conference room, surrounded by splintered wood, and just laugh together.
Yeah.
The adrenaline drops, the magic settles, and they are back to being brothers in arms. But Flare's incredible restraint, it isn't just about avoiding a treason charge.
No, not at all.
It is deeply rooted in his own isolating past. Honestly, I think Flare is one of the most fascinating creatures in this entire universe.
Oh, without a doubt. His physiology alone makes him entirely unique. He breaks almost every rule of magical biology.
Yeah, let's detail that a bit. Normally, dragons in this world are crafted, right? Shamans or necromancers weave magic together to create them. But Flare is an elemental-made red dragon. What does that actually mean mechanically?
So it means his soul wasn't woven by another person. It was forged by the raw, volatile forces of nature itself.
Right.
They literally pulled his human corpse out of a bay, and the elements resurrected and transformed him. Because he wasn't carefully crafted by a shaman, his biology is just a chaotic clash of conflicting magic.
And the physical manifestations of that are wild. He has purple eyes, he breathes blue fire, but it has this strange purple edge to it.
That's right.
And despite being a red dragon, which is, a creature of fire, he can breathe snow.
Which comes courtesy of a water elemental involved in his forging.
That's crazy. He also absorbs energy from sex rather than storing it. And, maybe most importantly, he is the only dragon who can actually fly in the netherworld.
Yeah, he is a total biological anomaly. He's the absolute pinnacle of elemental destruction. If you're designing the perfect siege weapon, you would design Flare.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Despite being this terrifying weapon of mass destruction, Flare's internal nature is completely at odds with his physical form.
Yeah, it's such a tragedy.
Before he died and was forged into a dragon, he was a human obelisk. He worked with a man named Marcus Sainte, peddling natural plants, easing pain, managing illnesses, and even now, centuries later, he acts as an immortal doctor and apothecary.
Right.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. How does a being designed by pure elements to burn cities, to ash, reconcile that with a human soul that really just wants to mix herbal remedies and heal people?
It creates a profound, centuries-long loneliness for him. Flare is an outlier among outliers. He openly talks about how hard it is to fit in with other dragons like Blue and Torch because his fundamental drives are just so different.
He doesn't want to conquer.
Exactly. He doesn't want to conquer. He wants to cure. That is why his relationship with Layla is so crucial.
Because she actually sees him. She watched him gently feed treats to horses.
Right, yeah. Layla doesn't look at him and see a terrifying elemental freak. She sees a quiet, kindred soul. she sees the healer.
Yeah.
Flair's internal thoughts reveal this deep melancholy. He misses his human life. He desperately seeks connection, which is why he goes out of his way to talk to the vampires at the Enclave and why he clings to his friendship with his fellow dragons, Riker and Xavier.
Because they're unique too.
Exactly. They accept his weird, clashing biology without judgment. Flair's entire existence is really a search for a sanctuary where he can just be himself.
But Flair is the lucky exception, isn't he? He found a kingdom that tolerates his weirdness. If you step outside that protective bubble, this universe makes it brutally clear that not all hybrids are so lucky.
No, they definitely aren't.
In fact, if you don't have royal protection, immortal society doesn't just shun you, they harvest you. Let's look at the harrowing reality of Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is a stark, brutal contrast to Flair's experience. She represents the absolute worst-case scenario for a hybrid in this world.
Her situation is just a physiological nightmare. She was originally a solitary length shifter. She was a nurse who possessed shadow magic, basically living a quiet, comfortable life.
Right.
Then she goes to a bar, gets charmed by a French vampire, and he completely tricks her. He bites her, effectively turning her into a vampire lynx hybrid.
And let's break down why that is so devastating on a cellular level. Normally, vampire venom freezes biology. It stops the clock, locking the body into an undead state that requires blood for fuel.
Okay.
But shifter biology is the exact opposite. A shifter's cells are designed for constant, violent regeneration and adaptation. So when you introduce vampire venom into a shifter, it creates a literal cellular war.
The magic is literally damaging itself.
Exactly. Her instincts as a lynx demand that she hunt and consume solid prey, but her vampiric curse demands liquid blood. She isn't a true shifter anymore, but she isn't a true vampire either.
Which leads to a really horrific incident. Driven mad by this conflicting hunger, she accidentally overdrinks from a deer and kills it.
Yeah, which is a major violation.
Right. And a hunting party from the Vulture Enclave finds her. Because she broke their laws, the Vulture Princess sentences her to execution. They just leave her out at dawn to burn in the sunlight.
It's brutal.
But because she still has that shifter cellular resilience, she doesn't turn to ash. She survives the burning, but she is severely weakened, dehydrated, and recaptured.
And this is where her existence shifts from tragic to outright torturous. They lock her in a dark cage. She is battling madness, a warring biology, and unrelenting thirst. Her periods of lucidity are becoming shorter and shorter.
And then comes the detail that genuinely shocked me. She isn't just going to rot in that cage. Her jailer casually lets slip that she is going to be sold, not to another vampire enclave. She is going to be sold to a pharmaceutical company for experimentation, like a literal lab rat. I mean, we're dealing with ancient magic, megaliths, and immortal beings, and suddenly we pivot into corporate pharmaceutical testing.
I know, it's a huge shift. But what's fascinating here is how this exposes the dark, deeply pragmatic underbelly of the magical world. The pure immortals view hybrids with damaged magic, not as people, but as highly lucrative resources.
Wow.
Think about it from a dystopian corporate perspective. A pharmaceutical company wants to test lethal compounds, right? If they have a hybrid test subject whose vampire venom keeps them immortal, but whose shifter cells constantly regenerate damaged tissue.
They have the holy grail of test subjects.
Exactly.
A creature they can kill over and over again, and it will just keep regenerating. That is terrifying. And it is so much worse because of who Tatiana used to be. She was a nurse.
She knows the protocols.
Right.
She understands the clinical phases of drug testing. The psychological horror is that her human medical education makes her uniquely capable of anticipating her own torture.
Oh, man.
She isn't just fighting magical madness. She is facing the sterile, clinical reality of becoming a permanent science experiment.
But thankfully, Tatiana's impending doom in that cage is the exact catalyst that forces our brawling heroes, Flair and Marchand, to put aside their bruised egos, pack their bags, and launch a transnational rescue mission.
Right, the mission becomes the unifying force. It just strips away all that interpersonal drama.
It is 1:30 in the morning. This team boards a luxurious private Gulfstream jet for a 13-hour flight straight to Bucharest, Romania. You have King Luke, who is absolutely adamant. He flat out refuses to lose any more immortals to their enemy, Elliot.
Yeah.
And joining them on this flight is Flame, the Grey Dragon.
Oh, we definitely need to talk about Flame, because his presence on this plane establishes the moral baseline for this entire group.
Flame's background is legendary. He broke basically every rule in magical existence. He actually died 4 times in a row to save his mate, Lightshade, from Elliot's torture.
And we have to understand what dying means here. When an immortal dies, their soul doesn't just peacefully move on. It is dragged into the netherworld, which is a realm of absolute chaos and suffering.
Right.
To pull yourself out of the netherworld once is nearly impossible. To do it 4 times, your sanity should be completely shredded. A dragon returning from that kind of repeated death should be a demented, hollowed-out monster ready to lay waste to the countryside.
But Flame came back from his 4th death smiling.
Because his anchor to reality wasn't vengeance, which is what usually corrupts returning souls, his anchor was protective love for his mate. His core was so unshakable that the netherworld couldn't break his mind.
So what does this all mean? You look at this group sitting on this Gulfstream jet. Flare, Marchand, Flame, King Luke. It is like looking at an immortal Black Ops team where every single member owes someone else their life.
Absolutely.
I mean, we find out that a century ago, Flame saved Flare from a euphoria trap in Eastern Europe.
Right, a euphoria trap being a magical snare that overloads an immortal's senses with pure pleasure, basically paralyzing them. It's like a honeypot designed to quietly drain their energy while they are lost in bliss. Flame pulled him out of that, helped him get his money right, and helped him start his apothecary business in California.
The loyalty is just off the charts. They are flying halfway across the world to save a hybrid they have never even met.
And this raises an important question about the fundamental nature of their war. Yes, they are fighting against Peter Elliott and his virus in the dream. But this rescue mission proves they aren't just fighting against something. They are actively fighting for the marginalized outcasts.
Right.
Rescuing Katiana is not just a tactical move to deny an enemy a regenerative lab rat. It is the moral foundation of the kingdom they are trying to build. They're creating a sanctuary where a damaged vampire lynx hybrid has just as much right to exist as a pureblood king.
It's a radical act of empathy.
Exactly. In a world governed by apex predators, empathy is radical.
Which brings us right back to you, the listener. Because underneath all the blue fire, the magical biology, and the intense shadow wars, this universe is fundamentally a story about finding your place.
Yeah, it really is.
Think about it. You have Flare, a phenomenally powerful elemental weapon who just wants to be left alone to practice medicine. You have Marchand, a griffin struggling to reconcile his feared, uncontrollable biological instincts with his desire to be a supportive partner. And you have Tatiana fighting to maintain her sanity and her autonomy in a cage. They are all, in their own ways, just searching for a place to belong.
It is a potent reminder that even in a world populated by supreme beings capable of leveling cities, the most powerful and transformative currency isn't elemental magic.
No, it's not.
The true currency is empathy, friendship, and the willingness to accept people entirely for their messy, clashing differences. Flare's survival, Tatiana's impending rescue, Laytha's confidence, all of it hinges on someone else looking at them and saying, I see exactly what you are, and you are welcome here.
It is that incredible blend of ancient magic and deeply human vulnerability. Which leaves us with one final thought to mull over. We talked about how Flare is an elemental-made dragon. We discussed how that raw magic essentially took his human soul, his core desire to be a healer, to ease pain, and locked it inside a form built for ultimate destruction.
Right.
It suggests that elemental magic doesn't change who you fundamentally are. It merely amplifies what is already buried deep inside your core. So think about your own life, your own core drive. If your dominant trait were suddenly fatally charged by raw, volatile elemental magic, what would it look like? Would you become a force of destruction, tearing down the conference rooms of your life? Or would you, like Flare, just want to heal the world?
I sincerely hope you enjoyed this thorough analysis of another tale from the Draoithe Saga by Ophelia Kee. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more original stories and audio adventures. A special thank you to OK Music Writers for writing and for sharing the Enter the Dream soundtrack. It's more than a story, it's an experience. Welcome to the dream.